Welcome back to Lepodcast episode 29. As always, you're here with Hoop, Saney, and the infamous ZZ Huncho. So I'm not a soccer guy by any means, but the start of the World Cup was on today. I know Saney's a big footy fan. The U.S. is never good. I don't really care about it. I know a lot of our viewers are from the U.S. We checked, it's 59%, but that also shows we have a ton of diversity in our viewers, which we love. So if your team is doing well, your country's doing well, congrats. I just personally don't care for soccer. The reason I bring this up is because the U.S. basketball team in the Olympics is usually dominant, but now there's more of a diverse audience for basketball. So when will the time come, Saney and Z, that the U.S. men's basketball team will not be favored to win the Olympics?
Never. And here's why I'll say never. Number one, the only reason U.S. isn't first in the rankings is because the team they have right now, like on paper, because a lot of guys backed out. Like, for example, there's this guy named Charlie Brown. No hate to him whatsoever. I'm not hating on this guy. I'm just saying he got cut from the Thunder, and he's in that U.S. roster, right? Like, and Langston Galloway's on that roster too right now. Like, that roster they're using is just like there for like friendlies and stuff. That's not like the actual U.S. roster. And Spain won the World Cup and stuff because, you know, what the U.S. team had like Kemba Walker and Tatum, like everybody backed out last second. A bunch of guys got injured. So it's really misinformative. And I know a lot of like those media accounts posted, oh, they're not first anymore. Like, obviously they're not. But when they're fully healthy, they're clearly the best country.
That's what I meant to say. Like, at full health, when all the Americans are playing for the team, when
still
will,
never.
in the
Never.
minds of never?
Here's why I say never, because although I love the fact that the NBA is taken over by European basketball, there's just like too much to expect from one singular country. For example, Greece. They're great because they have Giannis. Are we going to see Greece develop 12 players that can be at a superstar, all-star level? The U.S. is the only country that can do that. I don't see any other country in one generation having a golden generation like that where they have 12 guys to choose from that will be healthy all at the same time playing in the Olympics. Now, I do understand basketball is a team sport and that there's teams that can easily, like, for example, Spain. Spain, Willie Hernan Gomez and Ricky Rubio were their stars, right? And they play team ball, but U.S. wasn't fully healthy. If the U.S. sent out the team that they could have sent out, with the guys that they have in their arsenal, they would have dominated. Let's be honest. Just like every other year, they would have dominated. And I understand that in order for you to win basketball, you have to play as a team. We've seen it many times where like super teams will get together and they won't win. But I think it's different with the U.S. because they have so many guys to choose from, it's literally impossible for them to choose a group of guys that can't not only mesh together, but they're like skill-wise through each player. Like, they could be the best player on any given team that you put them on. Which is why I think that it's going to be really hard for us to see, you know, the U.S. not be number one. But, I mean, anything's possible. I mean, when next generation, a generation after that, I'm sure we'll see something. But just think about how hard it's going to be for a foreign country to develop 12 players in the same generation at the same time. In that same 4-year span or whatever that you have between each Olympics. To have that many guys that can go out on the court and compete compared to the U.S.
I agree, based off the fact that I just feel like with the United States, it's always a matter of, like, stuff like that can be misleading. Like when you're looking at the U.S. falling from number 1 to number 2 or number 3, and I'm just like, y'all got to be kidding me. If the league wanted to put together the best that they could offer, 12 spots or 12, 15 spot roster to go and, you know, fight for the country, I think that we could put together something great. And it is a matter of, like, in our modern, I guess, NBA, when we were looking at, like, how Team USA's been since the Dream Team, right? Like, the Dream Team was put together because of failed, you know, attempts at winning the gold, or America just being absolutely bashed by foreign competition. And they put together the Dream Team like, oh, well, here we go. This is the best of the best that we could possibly offer. And then we get glimpses of failures like 2004 all the way up to the Redeem Team. That 2016 team was really good. But if there was one country that I was like, they might give us a run for our money, it probably would be Australia, because of how well Australia is, or how well Australia does with, like, just developing their players, or at least trusting their players. And they play team basketball. I said this too. Team USA you could put together a team that you think is going to do well, right? Like how the team looked after the Suns lost in the finals, right? And D-Book went and played with KD. At first, they were dog water, right? And then everybody was hating on them. And then I'm like, okay, well, hold on. Like, they're getting beat by teams that are playing team basketball, playing team defense, have that ball movement, off-ball movement, all of these things, right? And I'm just like, this goes to show you can't put together individual talent and just throw them together. You got to kind of put a little bit of, brain power into it. You can't just have Kevin Durant leading the charge every single year, which is why that 2016 team was so good. DeMar, Jimmy, Draymond, who else was on that team? Y'all remember?
Carmelo.
Carmelo, a guy like Carmelo, right? Mr. Olympia, or whatever they want to call him, Mr. Olympics, whatever. Like guys like that. The team literally back then was like revolving around the fact that they had a vet like Melo. You know what I'm saying? To make people remember, to remind people what they're fighting for, things of that nature. So I just don't think that in the coming years, I don't think Adam Silver is really going to allow, USA basketball to look like dog water because he knows the media will attack us.
I think they can throw the talent out there, but the Brooklyn Nets have showed us that you just can't throw talent together. And it was looking scary when the U.S. lost to, what was it, Ghana? Was it? They lost to a couple bad teams.
Yeah, it was a couple bad teams
in a pre-qualifier.
No, but here's the thing. My point of it was never that the U.S. can't lose. We've seen the U.S. lose time and time again.
It's the favorite.
It's the favorite. You asked me, will they ever not be the favorite?
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever see the U.S. not be the favorite. If you go however betting works, the plus, I don't know how those numbers work, to be honest. I don't bet myself. But I know that there's always a favorite, and I think the U.S. will never not be the favorite.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. If they're ever not, it would be easily number 2. Like some country would have to pull a Yao Ming, and you ever heard that conspiracy where they like built him in a lab?
I don't think that's a conspiracy. I think that's true.
I could definitely see it being true.
They got the tallest. His dad and his mom were the tallest 2 people in China at the time.
That's wild. All right, we got to move on. We can talk about conspiracy theories all day. But getting into today's lineup, we have the headlines: Giannis versus ladder, if you saw the video. This or that LeBron James edition, since people love this or that. And then lastly, the player portal, where we're going to be dragging in previous NBA talent into today's league, and we want to see where they'd rank today, or at least speculate on where they'd rank today. Starting off with the headlines, LeBron James was on a show called The Shop. It's a bunch of guys sitting on stools, athletes, whatever.
It's LeBron show.
Is it? But
That's
they
LeBron James'
basically they confronted him about the lying scandal, which he then lied again. But he also said on the show that Aaron Rodgers of the Green Bay Packers is someone that the Packers should be building around and sacrificing their picks to, give him the best chance to win now because they're wasting a generational talent. And if you think about that, that is exactly what the Lakers have to face right now. And as someone who is the fading generational talent, he is basically saying that the Lakers should, give up the future, build around LeBron. What do you guys think about this? It should be really quick because we've talked so much about LeBron. Do you think he's in the right, or he deserves to be built around after what he did with Russ?
No. And I'll say this is why. They've already done the sacrifice for LeBron to build around him. They already took that shot. I think initially, if you asked me this 2 years ago, I would say yes, they 100% should sacrifice the future to win now, because why else would you bring in a guy like Anthony Davis? Why else would you get rid of guys like Lonzo and Brandon Ingram beforehand? You know what I mean? What's the point to stop it now? Now is a big reason to stop it now, because you gave up your whole future. You didn't even make the playoffs. You didn't even make the play-in. Adam Silver gave you a chance to make it as a 10 seed. You couldn't even do that. Which is why I say no. I think that the Lakers need to understand that LeBron James is only getting older. Not only that, he has publicly stated that he is going to join whatever team Bronny gets drafted to. Bronny is a senior in high school now, correct me if I'm wrong, meaning he has, a season in college, and then he goes to the league. So
I feel like if they're really going to cater to LeBron, like the conspiracy theorists say, they'll take down that 1-year rule, and he'll be in the league next year. Imagine.
That's the thing. But here's the thing: whatever team takes Bronny, why would the Lakers give up everything? Not even everything. The very chump change they have left to just get another season of LeBron, or however many years they have left.
We've went over this before, where they don't have much of a future anyway. So, like, the one way to do it is to jump. You could jump ship and get rid of everyone, but that's hard to do.
That's what I'm thinking.
If you could do that, I think you should do that. That should be the first option. But if you can't trade LeBron to, like, the very few teams that he'd be tradable to, you can't trade Anthony Davis for whatever reason. Like, are you going to just... You either ride it out and then have a mid-future anyway with 2 future draft picks, or do you try to go all in? Like, it's either you're mediocre both ways.
You can't go all in, though. That's the issue. Anthony Davis is not reliable at all. I think he's had one game where he scored over 30 points this season, and it was against a team that didn't have a true center.
So if they can't trade away, what do?
You ride it out. At this point, just ride it out. Like, you took the L. You got a ring. Be happy about that. Don't give up your future. Don't do this. Don't give up what you have left in 2027. 2027 is only 5 years away. It's okay. 2017 was 5 years ago. That seemed to go by pretty fast. Just take the L. Wait it out. And that's just literally all you can do. I don't see the thought process. There are memes going around of Victor Wembanyama in a Pelicans jersey. You're telling me they have a chance?
Right.
You're telling me they have a chance?
Those memes are coming out at the expense of the Lakers.
The narrative,
like, that's crazy.
The fact that there's a narrative that Wembanyama could be on the Pelicans next season gives me all the reason to think that 2027 draft pick isn't going to get you what you want. It's not going to get you enough for what you want. Even if you bring in Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, number one, very injury prone. You're gonna have 2 glass towers in the paint with Anthony Davis and Miles Turner. Number 2, Buddy Hield is not the difference maker you think he's going to be for the Lakers. He's going to be their only true shooter. It's going to be easy for defenses to guard that. They're the spacing. He might make the spacing a little better for sure, but you need to surround guys like LeBron with shooters, not shooter. And that's why I think that it's not a good idea. Just ride it out. Russ has one more year left on his contract. Who cares? Suck it up. This is the decision that Jeannie Buss decided to make. This is the repercussions and the responsibility she has to take as well.
I agree. If this was in 2019, I would have said the exact same thing that Sandy said. Like, oh my God, it's LeBron James. You better give him everything that he wants. LeBron in Tinseltown, hell yeah, it sounds like a recipe for success. And so far, they did get a championship out of it. But like Sandy said, what they have now is nothing more than like collateral damage. They got AD and his knees and Russell Westbrook's contract. And for me, LeBron's getting older, so I think that that political power that LeBron has behind the scenes, where he can influence GMs a little bit more because he is LeBron James. And granted, you've been playing in the league for 20 years, so you definitely have some. If you got some leeway, you deserve it. But right now, that leeway has only gotten LA to kind of be stuck in this weird little situation where LA fans, I don't even think that they really understand what really is at store for their future. You know what I'm saying? Like, LA fans are sitting there probably thinking, we are a historically great franchise, right? We've seen some of the best players of all time come into this town. Magic, Kobe, Shaq, Wilt, LeBron now, AD, Russell Westbrook, blah, 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 blah. But now they're sitting here like, well, damn, if we're going to keep tanking and we can't even get this 7-foot 10th wonder of the world, then what are we going to be doing? Like, what's happening right now? And like you said, they traded away their future to cash in on a championship. Lonzo was gone. B.I. was gone. Randall, your boy King Julius, was gone.
I was about to say, when y'all were mentioning like Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, I was like, y'all forgot someone.
I know.
They got rid of Randall. Did Randall leave in free agency? Did they even trade him? Like, he left to the Pelicans, and he was never him until the Knicks. Like, I wouldn't consider Randall to be one of the guys they let go, because Randall wasn't an example of a guy that got better right when he left. He was an example of a guy that developed like a couple seasons after. So in hindsight, I understand the Lakers letting him go. Guys like Lonzo was like remember, we were considering Lonzo to be one of the best defenders in the league before he was getting those knee problems.
That's true.
Brandon Ingram, we all see what Brandon Ingram can do. Brandon Ingram would be a great piece to have beside LeBron and Anthony Davis right now.
If I could just, because we got to move on. I just want to say one more thing. You mentioned Wembanyama possibly going to the Pelicans. if you told me, like, if Zion and Wembanyama were in the same draft class, and you told me both were going to the Pelicans, I'd tell you that's the greatest NBA team of all time. With Zion's high school highlights and Wembanyama, like, oh my gosh. The Pelicans, by the way,
They
are not
might
using
actually-
Zion correctly. He's not getting the touches he needs.
Right before we move on, I'll say one last thing. If they actually end up getting Victor, I genuinely think that might be one of the scariest teams in NBA history.
But the thing is, like, I mean, we could
They
go
have
on a
everything.
whole Pelicans.
Brandon
no, they
Ingram,
do
CJ
have
McCollum.
everything. But at the
Like-
same time, like, I don't want to say they have nothing, but there's too many. There's too many.
True. But I
Like,
feel like guys
Zion
like CJ
averaging
McCollum are
21
Zeke-
points and not making like a boom, like, I'm a 35 points all in the paint impact. Like, that's what I expected. But, you know, there's so much talent. So much. They have a lot of time to figure it out, though.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
You
we
wanna
got to
move
move
on?
on to Giannis versus the ladder.
Giannis versus ladder.
Ladies and gentlemen, they wanted to call this segment Giannis versus the ladder. However, I have something better in mind. GLC, Giannis, ladders, and chairs. So, what we got so far when we're looking at this topic right now is this was last night, right, boys? Or 2 nights ago, following Milwaukee's loss to the Philadelphia 76ers, where Giannis shot 4 of 15 from the free throw line. Giannis decided to stay after to get up some shots, get up some more free throws. In the process, though, some workers that were working for Philadelphia, you know, taking down the nets, doing all of those things, they were just trying to get their job, you know, just trying to get to their job. Montrezz Harrell comes out of the cut, and he wants Giannis to, you know, respectfully go the hell home. You lost. But Giannis just wanted to keep working on his bag. So the question that I have for Sani and Hoop is, I know y'all have seen the video. The video's been viral. It shows Giannis using that Hulk strength, you know what I'm saying, throwing the ladder with one hand like it was nothing more than a sack of potatoes. But I want to know, who's at fault here? Is it necessarily Giannis? Is it Montrezz Harrell? Is it the ladder for being in the way of Giannis? Like, who's at fault here? Y'all let me know.
I mean, but before I give my answer, I think reports came out that Trez wanted to work on that side of the court. Like he was just telling Giannis to go to the other side. Like that's Trez's side of the court. That's where he works out after the game. He wasn't trying to like kick Giannis off the court necessarily. He just wanted him to go to the other side. Whatever. I don't know. Nobody knows the true full story because they haven't actually come out with it yet. But I will say this.
I see that here. I see Trez's quote.
I'm not going to say Giannis is in the wrong because I don't think what he was trying to do was wrong, work on his game, but he is not entitled, and Richard Jefferson put it best. I watched a video of Richard Jefferson explaining it. He is not entitled to privileges like that in an away court. Montrezz Harrell, that's his home court. That's his post-game routine. The workers, I think, were being a little petty, like putting the ladder in front of him. Like, if you watch the clip, you can see one of the workers be like, no, bring the ladder back. When Giannis was like, at first Giannis was like, hey, can you move this out the way? And the worker was like, no, bring it back. And that's what led Giannis to push it. But I think Giannis isn't entitled to, like, being able to control, like, what happens post-game in that arena if he wants to work on his game or not. That's just not how it works. It's not your arena. So while I do think they were petty, the 76ers, they have no reason to respect Giannis because at the end of the day, that's your opponent. And you're allowing your opponent to get better on your grounds. If I'm Trez, I'm doing the same thing. I'm telling him, get out of here. Like this, no, I'm not. Why would I cater to you to make your game better so that when I see you, now I got to deal with this again? No, get out of here. Don't show no respect. And I agree with Trez, and I agree with the 76ers, but I also disagree with the slander Giannis has been getting. Mm-hmm. People are like, oh, he's disrespectful. Oh, you should have just... No, Giannis wasn't doing anything wrong. He's just not entitled to what he thought he was entitled to. That's the issue.
I think Giannis did something wrong, but he did what he needed to do. You said he shot what from the free throw line? It was
4-15.
What is wrong? What was wrong about it?
You just said he was shooting on the Sixers court when they were the workers were trying to do their jobs. You're saying that's not his entitlement. He did something wrong by letting you know what this is like? Imagine like a cashier at like a supermarket. He's like, "Oh, I want to work on my cashier skills after work." But the dude's trying to go home. Like, that's just not your place. I don't care how much money you're making. Like, that's just not your place. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you're a worker for the NBA. That's their stuff. You don't want to step on other people's toes. But at the same time, if I'm a Bucks fan, I want him pushing down the ladder to work on his free throws. That is exactly what I see from Giannis. That's what I want my teammates to see in me if I miss that many free throws. I better be pushing down the ladder to work on my free. Like, that's exactly what he needed to do. It was just, unfortunately, collateral damage that came with it. And Montrezz Harrell, I think, was also in the right. If that was, Montrezz Harrell is not a likable guy, but if that was Julius Randle on the Knicks court and someone else trying to shoot my court, yeah, tell him to get off. That's my court. Yeah. I think everyone was in the right, but there was just collateral damage to go along. Like everyone did what they should have done. The workers should have tried to kick Giannis off. Trez should have tried to kick Giannis off. Giannis should have tried to stay on. Everyone did what they were supposed to do. There was just consequences that came with it that were unfortunate.
Now,
before we move on.
Go ahead,
sorry, is there one more thing?
I was going to say this quick note. According to Giannis, he said that he had 2 more free throws left, and he asked them to move the ladder apparently 3 times, and each time they said no. Now, I'm just going to say that I applaud Giannis for trying to work on that. 4-15 is bad. That looked like that same Giannis that had Drake under his skin and in his brain, telling him that he sucked back in that Toronto series where he was missing all those damn free throws. So for Giannis's MVP case, you know what I'm saying? I can understand my man wants his team to win. And watching that game, they couldn't hit a damn thing down the stretch. So I can see that. But to Hoop's point, we got to look at it from the Philly workers' perspective. I think those guys don't have interviews and 1 million followers on social media. Their job is to simply take down the damn net and go home. You know what I'm saying? And they just watched y'all lose. They played that stupid Philly song after Philly wins and all that. They had to go through all of that, the confetti, all that. Let them go home, Giannis. You got a baby.
They're trying to pick up their kids from school or something.
Yeah, and you got a baby, Giannis. If Giannis wants to shoot free throws, he can shoot on the little Tykes goal. I know he's a millionaire. He probably got a damn goal in his house. What? Just fly home and shoot them free throws, bro. Damn. It ain't like you're going back to Philly anytime soon. That was so stupid.
But you got what I'm saying, though? I think everyone did what they needed to do. It was just unfortunate.
I agree. Before we move on, though, real quick, I'll say one last comment. I saw the funniest thing about that situation. Somebody was when the video of Trez and Giannis arguing, somebody comments, "Oh, Trez is on one." And somebody replied to the comment, "Trez isn't on one, he got one," because he only had 1 point. But if we want to move on, I thought that was funny.
That is crazy. He had 1 point. That's got to be worse
crazy.
Than ending with 0 points, I'd say. Right?
I mean, at least he made a free throw, right? But Giannis made more.
Because that just means you at least shot 50% from the free throw line. Because no way you have 0 points and they trust you with the technical foul.
All right, so our next segment is This or That LeBron Edition, which I am not hosting this time. I'm actually playing.
My first ever This or That. Okay, so if you're new to the show, This or That, we like to, and remember, this is current, so don't think we are in any way, shape, or form referring to LeBron James compared to this player all time, because he would win every single round unless we were talking Jordan. But, basically, we're taking players from this season only. So specifically this season, their play this season compared to LeBron James, and who would you rather have on your team right now? So even though if LeBron's stats don't look pretty, would you still rather LeBron over this guy? Because a lot of these guys have prettier stats than LeBron. But let's see. And it progressively gets harder. So the first few might be easy to pick, but I made sure to save the good ones for last. So we're going to start off LeBron James right now. Okay, so for all you viewers, you don't get butthurt. LeBron James or Brandon Ingram?
I'm taking LeBron James.
Yeah, the fact that we're thinking about this should have been answered.
The only reason that it was...
You had a look on your face. You had a look on your face. I was like, do I have to really look up?
No, you guys were taking so long. I thought it was the instant LeBron. It should have been instant LeBron.
It's LeBron. It's Bron.
Bro,
I feel like
the shooting is really bad for LeBron. I'm not going to lie to you. LeBron's shooting efficiency is really bad.
I'm looking at the efficiency right here, and I'm just like...
this is where it gets a little harder. I still think, this is where it's going to start getting a little harder. I just wanted to warm you guys up a little. LeBron James or Sabonis? Think about it.
No, LeBron.
I'm taking LeBron. I got to.
If
I agree with that. I'm not hating on it.
If Sabonis was a nice rim protector, that would be different. But the Kings have a great offense because of Sabonis, but they also have a horrible defense because of Sabonis.
Fair enough. LeBron James or DeMar DeRozan?
LeBron.
I'm taking Bron.
Pretty easily.
Okay. I mean, I like DeRozan efficiency-wise
I'm
has
still
been great.
saying, obviously
I take LeBron too. I'm taking LeBron too.
I'm saying
taking LeBron
like,
too.
LeBron's not on course to make the playoffs, but I'm assuming like this team can possibly make the playoffs. I don't want playoff them.
I'm assuming.
All right, here are the three. Here are the three that might take a little bit of thought. And remember, you got to include the fact how well their teams are doing in the playoff, all that stuff. LeBron, maybe the first one might be a little easier than the rest. LeBron James or Jimmy Butler?
LeBron.
Bron, for a playoff stretch.
Okay. that's not hard. That's not hard.
Playoffs.
Hey, okay. LeBron James or Jason Tatum?
Jason Tatum.
Right now, JT.
Right now.
MVP in my
Jason
book.
Tatum.
I need if you don't take LeBron now, I need reasoning.
Okay.
It's
JT,
with Jason
the
Tatum,
Celtics.
Go
ahead. No, you got it.
I was saying Jason Tatum is not the on-ball playmaker that LeBron James is, but he fits, I think, into almost any system with how good his defense is, how good of a shooter he is, how he could shot create at times. We've seen stretches in the playoffs where he's shown promise. This year, I think he's developing to someone who's going to be more reliable, someone who could throw the ball to in a one-on-one situation. He's going to go to work. So I think a more developed version of Jason Tatum is, I don't want to say is similar to Kevin Durant, but he's someone who could get his shot off over anyone. He's still going to play make. He's still going to play defense. He's not a head case. Not saying that LeBron is a head case, but he could definitely drag down the team morale at times. And LeBron's come to a point where I can expect him to walk down the court for one possession in a playoff game if he's losing big. Like I don't see that at Jason Tatum, so I'm taking Tatum.
All I needed to hear was like, sorry, Z.
I was just gonna say Tatum's numbers so far this year MVP worthy. 30 points on 47% from the field. His three-point shooting is 35%, but I mean I feel like that's just gonna go up, more and more.
I'm not even. I'll be straight up. I know Jason Tatum's having a great season statistically. I'm not even looking at that. Like I just Tatum.
I'm looking at the fact that
I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure you guys aren't saying Tatum just because the hype says Tatum.
No.
Okay.
Tatum's getting hungrier and hungrier by the year. Fresh off of a finals berth. I like the progression going forward. I'm taking
and
I'm
LeBron's
taking
getting full. LeBron is getting full. LeBron James. This is the last one. LeBron James or Kevin Durant? That's a harder one. They're really thinking about it for the Spotify listeners.
This is hard.
You can hear Hoops like little boiler in the background. You can hear him unmute and mute because he doesn't know what to say. I have my answer. I can give mine.
You know what?
I'm taking Kevin Durant.
I'm gonna go KD. I'm gonna go KD just because he's younger. That's it.
Well, younger. No. We're talking about players right now. We're talking about players right now. It's not about younger. It's about as a player right now.
I'm saying right because Braun's about to be 38 and KD is old up there in age too. I'm just saying, but my first thought was who's going to be able to give me more because KD's obviously just a scorer. Braun's all around, all these different things. But I'm just
no. KD is an improved playmaker.
Yeah, he's been an improved playmaker. His defense has also improved this season. I don't know if y'all been taking a look. He's been looking pretty good defensively as well. He looks like he's stepping up a little bit more because I told y'all the Brooklyn Nets defensive scheme is nothing more than Ben Simmons on the court and everybody else just looking at him, watching him play defense.
Well, they're the number one defense since Steve Nash left.
See? And hey, that's been a team effort too. Guys, Royce O'Neal stepping up. I feel like Kevin Durant is at a point right now where he can go out there and be like, you know what, media, my team sucks. However, I'm a saying for the world to see so that they can just rally behind my words. That's exactly what's been happening. I'll take KD. I'll take KD.
Yeah, I mean that's all I have for you guys. So we got 2 players out of the 6 I named off.
Hold up, I just want to. Oh my gosh. I sound so stuffy. I'm like getting over my sickness. I was really clogged up to start this episode. I don't know why I'm saying this. I just wanted to. But I just took a tissue. I took out, the thing inside my nose was like 3 inches long. It just flew into my tissue. On my one nostril, I could breathe fully. I'm working on the other one. That was just a quick update in case I sound stupid.
Flu game hoop. If we want to,
I sound like all like nasally. Oh.
If we want to move to our last segment, our beefy segment, our big boy segment.
Oh, now I really got to talk. All right, so we're calling this the player portal. I explained it earlier, but we're going to take a former player and rank them in today's NBA. So, where would these former NBA players rank in today's NBA in their prime? Saney, we'll start with you, then Z. Prime, Dirk Nowitzki. Give me a range.
Oh, that's a hard. Like in terms of power forwards, or in terms of all top 10 players.
Bonus points if you go for power forwards afterwards.
I think he's a top 3 power forward in the league right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think only Giannis and I think Kevin Durant are better than him. If we're considering Kevin Durant to be a power forward, I don't know if we consider Jason Tatum to be a power forward. I don't personally.
I don't.
I think he's a 3. But if we're talking power forwards, I would take Dirk as the 3rd spot. Maybe over Kevin Durant because it's prime Dirk compared to Nets Durant. But Giannis is better than him 100%. And I think in terms of the league, I think you can say he's top 15.
Mm-hmm.
I think top 10 is a little harder to get into because of. But the thing is, Dirk was different. That's like I
Here's
remember.
the thing: it's crazy because like obviously the league is so talented, but that's a guy who won an MVP. So that's
Yeah,
how talented
that's
the league is
the
today,
issue.
man.
I think he would be in the bottom end of the top 10 list, actually. I would put him top 10. I think I would put him either 10 or 9. I would obviously have to see the list, but I think you can definitely make an argument that he would be top 10 in this league today. I also think his MVP was a little, like, obviously, I'm not saying he didn't deserve it, but we all know the Kobe didn't get MVPs, that wasn't liked by the media, that whole thing. Kobe obviously got snubbed of a bunch of them. Dirk's was one of them. But I'll put Dirk top 10, like bottom end of the top 10, though.
I agree. I think he's definitely top 15 for sure, top 3 big men for sure. And the only reason I can confidently say that is because that means that prime Dirk Nowitzki would be in the same league as Cat, and Cat hasn't taken a leap in like 5 years, so he's still going to be mid. So Dirk's still got a shot. Dirk's going to obviously Dirk is going to just be placed
no.
right
He's a league higher. He's a league higher than Cat.
You're right. You're right. I'm all for the slander. Keep it going. More Cat slander. You would be even worse than you are right now. We would be ranking you worse than we are right now. Listen, Boots. But anyway, Dirk, top 15 for sure. I would say top 10. He has this better case because we talked about this in a couple of shows before about how big men outside of Jokic and Joel were stuck with Cat. But I think if Dirk is in the league, prime Dirk would be giving guys like Joel Embiid. He's a power forward. He's what, 7 foot? Yeah.
Yeah, but those are centers. You're talking about centers right now.
I consider big men like either tall, like it's weird because like big men.
I wouldn't rank Dirk along with Jokic and Embiid though. Like I rank him along Giannis and Durant, like that position.
I rank Giannis with Jokic and Embiid.
So when you're talking about top 3 centers, you put Giannis in that discussion.
I don't. Big man.
I don't do that.
I'm talking about position. No, position. Power forward. Giannis.
Okay.
I'm saying he said a top 3 big man. I don't know.
That's how I would view Dirk.
Dirk wouldn't be a top 3 big man in this league today.
So let me give you a question. Giannis. Someone who's in the either back of the top 10 or front of the top 15, not playing well this year, but let's say last year's Trae Young.
Yeah.
Or prime Trae Young.
Dirk is better than prime
Dirk's
Trae.
better than prime. How about Jimmy Butler?
Dirk's better than prime Jimmy Butler.
Paul George.
Paul George is better.
Yeah.
Prime Paul George, low-key.
So yeah, that's a pretty good spot for a pretty good spot for Dirk. Next one, I say this a similar thing. Prime Dwayne Wade.
Prime D Wade is what Donovan Mitchell, like where I would put him like around where Donovan Mitchell is ranked right now. I think that's where like
where is Donovan Mitchell ranked?
And I think Donovan Mitchell is top 10. I think again bottom like maybe like 7th. I think I'd put Dwayne Wade 7th. 8th. No. There's a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent.
Where is?
No, I said I'd put him over D Mitch.
Okay.
Like D Mitch is in the top 10 for me, and I'd put him over D Mitch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
D Mitch is like 9th, 10th for me right now.
And you're talking about
Dwayne Wade in like the 7th, because bro, Dwayne Wade was different. Prime Dwayne Wade was really good. I think guys like Luka are better than him. I think guys like the obvious top 5. We all have the same solidified top 5 for the league right now. I think all those 5 are better than Dwayne Wade. But I think Dwayne Wade can fall right under that.
I would see that. I can see that too.
Like I would take prime Dwayne Wade over LeBron James right now.
I was just going to ask that question, and I think I do the same thing.
Yep.
Because he was an incredible leader as well.
Like that. Yeah.
What about Kevin Durant? Would
I take him over Kevin Durant? That's
yes.
a little different.
Honestly, I'd say yes. I'd say yes. I'd say yes only because that flash, what we're getting is that's probably going to be the best two-way guard in the league. If it's prime D Wade we're talking about here.
But Kevin Durant is 7 foot, and he's barely out of his prime. Like Kevin Durant is at the bottom end of his prime, but he's still prime.
I'm not mad at
and
you
he's
for
7
taking him.
foot. So I'm taking Kevin Durant. That's like a big reason. And I've seen Kevin Durant, like, if he's in the playoffs, like, he's carrying, bro. Like, obviously with the Celtics, they got swept, but that team was just terrible. Steve Nash was terrible. We've seen Kevin Durant now get a better coach, and they have been dominating with that new coach. First in the league defensively. They've been winning games they should be winning. Kyrie Irving is returning tonight. They're only going to get better. I'm taking Kevin Durant. But I will take Dwayne Wade over LeBron James right now.
I think that's very accurate as well. Prime Tim Duncan.
Oh, now we're getting somewhere. I'm taking Giannis over Tim, obviously, but I don't know if I'm taking Joel Embiid over Tim Duncan. That's a thing that and you might be controversial. That might be a controversial take, but I think Tim Duncan, especially fundamentally, how good he is, and don't tell me that Tim Duncan wouldn't survive in this era, because Tim Duncan survived in an era where you had guys.
Tim Duncan's surviving in any era.
His
mid-range is butter.
I hate
his mid-range is butter.
He is so underappreciated for no reason. He is a top 10 player of all time.
Yeah.
He's a top 10 player of all time, Tim Duncan. People really don't understand that. And I started watching basketball at the end of Tim Duncan's prime when he was still doing bits. I'm telling you right now, if you're telling me I got to watch a Tim Duncan that was better than what I saw on a daily basis, bro, I'm taking only maybe Giannis over that. I might take Tim Duncan over Jokic. I might take Tim Duncan over Jokic.
Okay. Do you take
I would
Luka?
have to sit down and... Ooh, it's the
So are we saying Duncan's like a top 3 or 5 player?
I'd say if prom
five,
Duncan,
if not top 5, top 6.
Five?
Top 5. No, top 5.
Yeah.
Top 5 because wait, let me think of the top 5.
I was about to say,
Giannis,
if you said Embiid, like
Giannis,
Giannis,
Curry.
Steph. What about Steph?
Giannis, wait, let me think. Giannis, Curry, Luka, Jokic, and it's Durant or Embiid for that 5th spot, right? I would put him in the top 5. I would put him in. I would put him over Embiid or Durant. I would take him over Embiid over Durant. I might take him over Curry. I might take him over Curry actually. Right now.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, no, he's top 4.
Not mad at that.
He's top 4. He's top 4. It goes Giannis. It goes Luka. It goes Jokic. Maybe it's Jokic or Embiid or Duncan. I don't know who I would take. I would really need to sit down and dive deep.
I'm taking Duncan over Jokic because how solid defensively he is. And I think he's for a Spurs player, underappreciated passer. He's not going to create offense out of nothing like Jokic does, but he's also going to be a very similar caliber post player, if not slightly better. Obviously, the mid-range is there. It's close. I mean, I just like the defensive upside.
The reason I take Jokic, and I'm not mad if you take either one. I think it's like a 3A, 3B type situation. The reason I take Jokic is the fact that I've seen Jokic take teams like the Nuggets without MPJ or Jamal Murray, and really, like Hoop said, he can make an offense out of any team you give him. He made Aaron Gordon look good again. You know what I mean? I don't see Duncan having that same impact offensively that Jokic has, and I think Jokic isn't terrible as a defender, obviously. Like, he's not like, he's not a defensive liability to me, but Duncan as a defender is much better, and I think offensively he's not that far off from Jokic. I think Jokic's playmaking ability really puts him over Duncan, but if you take out the playmaking, it's not that different, right? Duncan can score at will in the post. And especially nowadays, the post game, it's a much easier game to dominate because guys are a lot softer and bigs like to stretch the floor a lot more. Like, imagine Tim Duncan going against Brook Lopez in the paint.
Well,
honestly,
Brook Lopez is solid, dog.
Solid. I'm not hating on him. I'm just saying, imagine prime Tim Duncan on Brook Lopez.
Well, I'm just saying, like, of anyone you could have picked, like, Brook is one of the best rim protectors in the league right now. You should have said, like, imagine him versus...
The fact that Brook Lopez that's what I mean. The fact that Brook Lopez is one of the best rim protectors in the league.
Okay.
And that's the competition that Tim Duncan is going against. Like,
right.
Imagine him against Cat. Imagine Tim Duncan against Cat.
That's what you should have said. Yeah.
But that's an obvious thing to say. That's imagine Tim Duncan against any bad defender in the paint. I'm saying look at what we consider great rim protection.
Yeah.
In comparison to what Tim Duncan had to play against. Tim Duncan's was going against Kevin Garnett, Shaq, and Shaquille O'Neal, all these guys in the paint. Imagine, bro, the only guys giving Tim Duncan trouble in the paint is what? Giannis, Embiid, Gobert might give him a little bit of trouble. Like, there's not a lot of guys I can list off that I can confidently say, oh, they might hold Duncan to less than 20 tonight.
Imagine Duncan.
That's why I think I put
Joel
Tim Duncan,
Embiid.
if not top 3, top 4.
And I mean, like, and when I mean versus Joel Embiid, like, we're taking quiet Tim, silent Tim, and troll Joel. So I'm gonna ask y'all this question. This is a little side question, but imagine on like a Friday night, it's Philly versus whatever team this hypothetical Tim Duncan's on, the Spurs, right? So how much do y'all think Joel Embiid would really have to troll to even somehow affect Tim Duncan or knock him off his game? Because
If Kevin Garnett can't, Joel Embiid can't.
No,
exactly.
I think Tim Duncan is murdering almost any matchup on any night. The one that would be somewhat difficult is Giannis.
Giannis, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Giannis is the only guy I'll take over him.
He's murdering any other matchup.
Anyone.
Nice try.
Yeah, you know what? I'm putting him over Jokic. Top 3. Luka and Giannis are the only guys I would take over prime Tim Duncan right now.
Yeah, that's
nice try.
It's going. All right, so I'm going to move over to his teammate now, prime Tony Parker. This is much more difficult. We could go based on point guards now.
Prime Tony Parker isn't a top 10 point guard in this league.
Name the 10.
It's going to be hard on the spot. But I will say this. He's not better than
Get
John
some
Morant.
off.
He's not better than John Morant. He's not better than Steph. This is not in order, by the way. Don't think I'm putting Ja over Steph. I'm just naming off guys. He's not better than John Morant. He's not better than Steph Curry. He's not better than Damian Lillard. He's not better than Tyrese Halliburton. He's not better than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, if we're considering him a point guard. Are we? He's not better. I'm not going to consider SGA. He's not better than Luka. I have to name 5 more. He's not better than Darius Garland. He's not better than... No, I would take prime Tony over Chris Paul right now. Chris Paul would really regress this season, which I called, by the way. I called
the same thing. I didn't put him on my top 10 point guards for this year, and people screamed at me.
De'Aaron Fox, I would take him over De'Aaron Fox. I'm just thinking.
Tony, by the way, I'm looking.
I'll take him Trae Young. I'm taking Trae Young.
Statistically, like his best season is 22-7. He was not shooting the 3 at all that year.
There's a lot of guys that can put up 22-7. There's a lot of guys that can put up 22-7. A lot of guards. I need to name 2 more. The fact that I need to name 2 more off the top of my head.
I would put Shai as a point guard. So.
Okay, I'm taking Shai.
Yeah, I was gonna say Shai.
Easily. And my last pick, I'm taking. No, I would put Tony Parker.
Did you say Halliburton?
I did. I would take Tony Parker. I would rank Tony Parker just above Fred VanVleet in this era. Just saying. He's like his competition is Fred VanVleet to me, and I can name 10 guards better than Fred VanVleet. Let me think of the last one. And my last pick, I'm just going through team by team. I think that's the easiest way to do it.
Jalen Brunson.
That's stretching it. I think they're on the same level, low key. Like they're not far off. I think Tony Parker's better than Jalen Brunson right now. I'm trying to. There has to be there's a guy I'm missing because this is off the top of my head. Remember, there is 100% a dude I am missing.
While Sandy thinks about that, let us all take
Drew
a
Holiday.
moment.
Drew Holiday.
And
I'm taking Drew Holiday over him. I'm taking Drew Holiday over him. There you go.
Drew Holiday. Now everybody take a moment and pause for 1 split second. I'm just gonna break. Hold on. As the Honorable ZZ Huncho takes the honorable sip. Now, I just wanted to get this off my chest because we haven't addressed it yet in the show. For some godforsaken reason, in the Lepodcast group chat the other night, I believe it was Friday when the Warriors played the New York Knicks, for some reason a graphic got sent to my phone and I had to read this bogus BS, and I felt like I was blinded by buffoonery. For some reason, the New York Knicks were not projected to win the game hoop before the game started, and y'all thought.
Dude,
and Saini, if I'm not mistaken,
the reason I sent it is because it was 97% to 3. The Knicks played the worst basketball I've seen in my life, and they lost by like 10. They hit 32 out of 34 free throws. They shot like 20% from the field. That was the most awful game. Turnovers, they were stumbling on their own feet. Jericho Sims looked like their best player, and we still hung in. And
Klay Thompson shot 50%, and they still hung in the game. Klay played good, and they hung in the game. Oh, my God. The Knicks would have destroyed if they played their average game.
Their average game? All I know is the game was over.
I'm
giving
the Warriors, like I'm not saying, like, the Knicks are better than the Warriors.
No. It was
the Warriors are obviously a better team. Like, they're obviously the better team, but, like...
It was a pretty mid-night from Warriors stars, I feel like. Klay did shoot 50%, but I think he only had 20. Steph had 24. Like, it wasn't like a 35-plus point performance that we saw from anybody. It was pretty just like, slight. Let's get him out of here. Let's pack him up.
Are the Warriors better than the Knicks?
They are. Everybody knows that. Hoop knows that. You knew that going into the game. 97% of people knew that going into the game.
I'm just saying, you take Tom Thibodeau off that Knicks roster and you bring in a guy.
Nah, you know what the problem is, bro? I would say the same thing if I was an immature Knicks fan, but I've matured. And the Knicks will always do the wrong thing in the front office. He's going to stay the entire year.
If they do the right thing, if they did the right thing, I'm just saying.
I wish that the Knicks did the right thing. I feel like they deserve to be like, I feel like as a kid, I used to be like, oh, are the Knicks just as good as the Lakers? Since the Knicks were always talked about in the Eastern Conference. And then I'm like, well, they have like 15 less championships. So no. So I'm like, why? But if the Knicks didn't have Madison Square Garden, they wouldn't be anything. They wouldn't be anything at all.
I was just gonna say that the impact of Madison Square Garden
that's crazy
on the New York Knicks is hilarious. It's hilarious.
You have one championship
it's just
or
the
two.
city. Like if the Knicks were in Portland, they'd be like it's more so New York.
Oh, they'd get relegated.
MSG.
Yeah,
they would actually make relegation a rule to get rid of the Knicks if it wasn't for New York. But do we have any other players to name off, or is that all we have for today?
I got one more. It's not in the spirit of like recently retired guys, but John Stockton. I had to.
Oh my god. Does John Stockton make an NBA roster? God tell me. No, I'm joking. I'm playing. I don't know. Like John Stockton right now is what to me he's like what Ricky Rubio is. Nah, I'm trolling. I am trolling. That's such disrespect. I'm trolling. But he's not top 10. 100% he's not top 10. 110%. I could confidently say that there's 10 point guards in the league better than John Stockton was in his prime. 100%. I think he would be one of the best. If we're talking playmakers, he's top 3 playmaker in the league. Yeah, even then it's stretching it. Even then, no. He's top 10 playmaker
all right,
in the league.
So let's
top 10 playmaker. Top 10 playmaker in the league.
I was about to say you got Luka.
Yeah.
You got Steph as a golf ball playmaker.
I'm tripping. He's a top 10
I'd say
playmaker
Draymond
in the league,
Green.
but what he is to me is
No,
like
you
a
won't.
budget.
No, you
like
won't.
John Stockton is like what a contender would bring in on a budget to bring in that playmaking ability that they're lacking. For example, like the Cavs would bring him in on like a budget to have like a playmaker type player.
Malcolm Brogdon.
He's a Malcolm Brogdon. Oh my God, he's Malcolm Brogdon. This was a great show, everybody.
He's a scrappy Malcolm Brogdon.
Malcolm Brogdon is John Stockton, and I think that's all, folks.
John Stockton would be the ladder boy. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
No, he's a legend. No, but genuinely, like, he is a legend. No, you can never hate on a guy because he excelled in his era. Like, that's where he was born. That's his opportunity. He took advantage of it.
I can.
He took opportunity. All right, where would prime John Starks rank? He probably would be in the G League. I promise you.
I don't
know where John Starks would be.
I just said it because of the Knicks.
Would he be on the Knicks? He'd either
Would
be
he
on
be
the
on the
G
Knicks?
League or on the Knicks. He'd be
No. He would be on the Knicks. He would be on the Knicks 100%. They have signed the most questionable players.
You want to ask a more personal question? Where would prime Melo rank?
Yeah, top 10. There's definitely like 6 guys better than him, but I think he's top 10.
I'd put him at 9 or 10. I could see him.
Can we? Because I know
Melo's
like the
peak,
prime
Melo's
PG
peak.
versus prime Melo is always a debate. But
PG
like,
is
he's
better.
better. No, right now, you're saying that.
Prime
right.
Melo is better than PG.
That's
but
what I
prime
was saying.
PG,
I was
prime
saying it's
PG
a
is better than
debate
prime Melo.
usually, but right now, prime Melo clears this PG.
For sure, but PG isn't top 10 in the league. He's like top 15.
Yeah. Sure.
Prime PG is better
I
than Melo
thought we had a
because of
consensus
defensive
that he
ability.
was around 10. That's why I asked the question.
Yeah, top 10. I would put him in the bottom half of 10. But Prime PG is better than Prime Melo because of his defensive ability, and scoring-wise, like, Melo's a little better, but PG's more efficient.
No, I think he's
PG
a lot
can
better.
score
But
all three. PG can score all
think-
3 levels at a very high clip. That's the thing. And defensively, bro, he finished.
No,
top 3
I'm
in
saying
both
Paul
MVP
George is
and-
better. I'm just saying as a scorer, I am taking Carmelo Anthony 10 times out of 10.
Apologies.
20
No, I
20
said that.
times out of 10.
No. Melo is better than scoring at Paul George, but I'm saying the gap isn't as far
Yes.
as the defensive gap, which is why I take.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a gap. It's like Melo's
No,
S tier.
you know what it is?
If we're talking scoring, Melo's S tier and Paul George is A tier in terms of scoring.
You know what
They're
it is? The gap for me comes with the playmaking. If it was just Paul George who didn't dribble and playmake and it was just his scoring and defense, I'm still taking Melo. But since he has the playmaking ability and he can bring the ball up and actually willingly dish, that's why I'll take Paul George.
All right. Well, this was a great episode, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Episode 29, episode 30 is coming soon, which is wild. A lot of Curry slander will come for that in favor of ZZ Huncho. But, yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Peace.